Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classics, that's non-classics. Excuse me. I dropped the book. This is episode number 1607 and Doubleshot number 1501. I got two Marvel trades. First up, we're going to for this writer, for this particular character, from the years of 2003 to about, I think it's 2005. I think it was. Because it takes place over the course of a few years. This book. We have Wolverine by Daniel Way. Now, unlike various other writers who basically write a particular series, usually it's one continuous series over a long period of time. This is a series of stories that he wrote for Wolverine. Daniel Way is one of my personal favorite writers. I have never met him in person, but I love this guy's work. Now, yes, I do know for a fact his last work he ever did for Marvel, aside from a couple Deadpool stuff, was that he wrote Thunderbolts. I'm not sure why he left that book, but he did after only 11 issues. But this is some early, really good Daniel Way stuff. Now, this book has some shocking Wolverine stuff in here. First up, we have Wolverine, Volume 2, issues 187 to 189. Fun fact about these three issues. These were the final three issues of Wolverine Volume 2 that were ever released before its relaunch that very year, and the book was taken over by Greg Rucka. And the book also contains Wolverine Volume 3 issues 33 to 40, Wolverine Origins 1 through 5, and Sabertooth, the 4-issue miniseries, which came right after that. Now, the Wolverine 187, 189, this is simply just a three-parter that it's an odd three-parter. Now, I should point out, though, yes, Daniel writes everything in here. The Down the Road, that's issue 187, that the artwork for that one's done by John McCrea. Good Cop, Bad Cop, that's two-part, like practically ended the second volume. That's done by Saz Johnson. Wolverine 33-35, that's of course from volume 3 for the series, called Chasing Ghost. This is Javier Cerritos. This is actually the, you're going to love this. This actually is the House of M tie-in issues, which I'll get this one. We have The Promise from I Heart Marvel, the Moonheart. The artwork for this one's by Ken Kudson. Origins and Endings is 36 to 40. This storyline here follows in the aftermath of House of M and leads, pretty much in a way, this five-parter is a backdoor pilot into Wolverine Origins, which, of course, the Wolverine Origins issues, the story for that one is called Born in Blood. That's one I'll get to. This one actually is a really important story arc. This artwork is done by the late Steve Dillon. Can you believe it's only been about 3 years since the man passed away? I've never met him in person, but I love this man's artwork. And, of course, the Sabertooth issues are done by, this, of course, is also known as Open Season, by Brad Sears. Down the Road. This is just a Wolverine, road trip issue, going to a bar. Yeah, these are best way to describe these issues. Now, I love the cover art here. The cover art for these issues are done by various people. Yes, the cover art for the Wolverine issues are done by Ezra Rebuk. The guy is a really good artist. This guy is noteworthy for working on Jason Aaron's run for Thor: God of Thunder. The Wolverine issues for the House of Tie-ins, that's by Carrie Andrews. Jess Fry does the I Heart Marvel cover art. Carrie Andrews also does issues 37 to 40, but 36 done by Joe Quesada and Richard Issoff. Anybody thinking, boo, Joe Quesada, you ruined Spider-Man. That's what a lot of people think nowadays. But this is I think this is actually just a couple years prior to that. So don't worry about that. The cover art for the Wolverine Origins book also could Joe Quesada as well with Danny Miki. Yep, Danny Miki did some artwork for this one, which I love Danny Miki's inking. The guy is really good. Here's a little fun fact about Danny Miki that I don't think anybody know about this guy. Did you know he was anchor for Rob Liefeld on Youngblood? Yeah, Rob Liefeld got the guy's start in comics. So kudos to Rob Liefeld for doing that. Yeah, Rich also who does also the Wolverine Origin stuff. I believe he's the anchor, or at least one of the covers. Sabertooth, the main book, is done by Paco Rivera. Yep. The good guy back up. This is just a quick two-parter that practically... It feels like a Ram two-part just put in here. It's just Wolverine just deals with some cop story that doesn't really go anywhere in here. But for his first few issues, they're okay. But it does get better. The Wolverine House of M tie-in. Oh boy, this is actually pretty good. I love this one. Now, you can kind of say, yes, the Wolverine 187 to 189, that was kind of the first issues he did. Those are okay. That's an okay start. It's still got some artwork. But the House of M issues is probably where it started of his big rise in popularity of basically his really good comics that he did. The House of M tie-in. This mostly is kind of the backstory of the House of M version of Wolverine. This is basically the story that revealed what happened to Nick Fury in this world. Yep. Now, this basically is, well, the best way to describe this is basically what Wolverine was up to in House of prior to the events of the world-altering stuff that happened in issue 1 of the miniseries. Yep. And this actually is a really good three-parter. I love it. I think that Steve Dillon does an absolutely fantastic job with this artwork. With the writing. Yeah, just really good. And who knew and the artist, I thought it was really obvious though that Nick Fury was told and then Wolverine. But of course, well, Wolverine practically killed. Well, in a way, he was killed and exercised with Wolverine. I kind of thought he stuck his claw in his ear. No, it's like he's basically stuck a knife in his ear. And, well, that's kind of what happened with him. Mm-hmm. Now, what happens next? Well, next comes I Heart Marvel. This is a very weird issue. It's basically a flashback issue set during World War II, which I love it. I love the World War II stuff for Wolverine. Now, 36 to 40. Now, this 5-part, like I said, is a backdoor pilot that leads into Wolverine Origins. See, this one is revealed that right after the events of House of M, one of the side effects they revealed in, I believe it was the final issue, issue 5, that Wolverine regained all of his memories. This is the consequence of it, where apparently S.H.I.E.L.D. is informed about him regaining his memories. Yep, and he has an encounter with the Silver Samurai. Now, I love how the artwork is drawn here. This, of course, is really good. I didn't like it that when we did a close-up of Wolverine, we have to show his eyes. I agree with Josh Hayes. That is not a good look. Okay, my brother's was here. Yeah, it's not really a good look for Wolverine, but this artwork is just really good. Mm-hmm. It slowly reveals some Wolverine missing memories, like stuff with Weapon X, which the memories taken away from him, and apparently S.H.I.E.L.D. is worried. We also reveal in this particular 5-parter that Bucky killed Wolverine's first wife. No, not Viper. No, that was his second wife. This was his first wife. Bucky is responsible for killing her when he was a Winter Soldier. And it's implied he killed the unborn baby, but they were able to survive. It's Dakin. Yep. But yeah, really good that one there. And now in the case of the Wolverine Origins first 5 issues. This one basically, like, Wolverine's going to rampage, and I figure out exactly what's going on. Like apparently people are panicking the fact that, oh, he might be the president. I mean, why the heck would Wolverine go after the president for? The president has nothing to do with basically what goes on with Wolverine. Yeah, it makes a freaking... It's basically the military and Wolverine panicking over nothing. But here's something quite interesting, though, about this. At the end of the very first issue, we had the return of a character that no one has seen since the 1980s. A character Frank Miller created. Who is it? Nuke. Yes, Nuke. Yes, we also kind of reveal Nuke's backstory in here. Like, for example, how the heck he had that tattoo on his face? Well, it's revealed that's actually not... Well, partially in the way that's not a tattoo. Wolverine did that to him during Vietnam. I'm not kidding about that. That's basically what happened here. I'm also not a fan of the way Steve Dillon draws the helmet for the Silver Samurai. The suit looks great. I love the way he draws the suit. I'm not really a big fan of the fact that the show is his eyes. I thought that was kind of silly. Yep. And we get a chance to learn about Nuke's backstory, which is okay. Hi, Charlie. Oliver! Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good.
Smile, you're on candid camera.
At the bottom, I want to write black. And on the top, it's...
So we're going to entertain Nikki for a few minutes.
Okay.
I guess not.
Yeah, I'm a little busy, okay?
I figured you want to see them first.
Okay, close the door, Dad. Thank you. Okay. Yes, so Wolverine's had Captain America on. What he has is red blade, which does hurt Wolverine. And it's basically his Wolverine healing factor starts to heal. And of course, Cyclops, Helion. Yes, Helion. Take on Wolverine because he's going freaking nuts. And he's able to calm down. It also revealed that he has a son who hates him. He's like, that makes two of us. And that wraps up that. Now, I'm a little surprised they threw in the Sabertooth miniseries. Yes, my only guess is because he's associated with Wolverine, even though that... Here's the thing about Sabertooth. He never first appeared in an X-Men comic or Wolverine comic. His first appearance was actually in the second last issue of Iron Fist. People forget that about Sabertooth. He's one of a handful of X-Men related characters who never first appeared in an X-Men comic. Here's a good example of a character besides Sabertooth who never appeared in the comic. Mystique, Sabertooth's longtime girlfriend. She first appeared in the pages of Miss Marvel. You want another one? Arcade. Yep, Arcade is another one. Okay, you want another one? One more. Rogue. Yes, Arcade made his first appearance in Marvel Team 65, first star as a Spartan villain. Rogue made his first appearance in Avengers Annual number 10. Yep. This miniseries is just basically Sasquatch on the run from Sabertooth. He's hunting him. And it turns out the reason why he's hunting him because Sabertooth's after the Wendigo. Which, that's interesting. Yes. So in kind of the way, I only guess is the reason why I threw in the Sabertooth miniseries, and this is just my personal theory, is because Dana White wrote it and Sabertooth associated with Wolverine. I gotta say, this actually is pretty good. Give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Yes. And yes, you probably just saw, like probably a few minutes ago, my nephews decided to show up. Two of them anyways. The third one's probably in another room. Alright, next up it is The Punisher, Volume 2, Border Crossing. Now, this is from Nathaniel Emerson's run. Now, this is actually the first of 3 consistent volumes for Punisher, because the book kept hitting the restart button, because this book was resumed, I believe it was in like 2012, I think it was. Yeah, it didn't last very long. It surprisingly lasted for 20 issues. I will get to, I've talked like about the last couple issues of this run, thanks to the last days on the best book, which like all the last days like issues. This book, in a way, is basically before that, well before that. This is from Punisher. I'm trying to think here. I think this is from volume 9, I think it was. Was it 9? Yeah, it was 9. Volume 9, and this is basically issues 7 through 12. They've included the Black Widow issue. Also with Nathaniel Emerson, because issues 9 of both Wolverine and Black Widow cross over each other. And I've discussed this issue before, and I believe it was the second book that collected issues from Black Widow volume 5, and this was by far, to date, up until recently, this was the longest Black Widow volume ever published for the character. This book is mostly just Punisher in prison, and in case you're curious though, like, is there any, like, outs... Now, the weird thing about this book is, it feels as though, basically, despite the fact it's set in LA, it feels as though it's very disconnected from the Marvel comic universe. And the only character you can say that basically pops up in this book, who's actually... well, associated with the Marvel Universe, is, besides Black Widow, of course, is Crossbones. Yes, Crossbones. A Captain America villain fighting the Punisher. Okay. Now, the Punisher issues themselves are mostly done, the artwork is done by Mitch Jarts, who did pretty much issues 9 through 12. 7 are done by Kevin Murder, who basically is the writer for this book. Yes, who co-wrote the book with Nathaniel Emerson. Now, they don't list off in here who drew issue 7. I only guess it's probably. Oh yeah, the penciler for issue 7 through 8 is Carmen Carnino. Yeah. For the second trade, the collect issue for this run, it's actually pretty good. I will eventually review volumes 1 and 3 soon. And also soon, I will also review the final trade that collects Becky Cohen's run for Punisher. Yep. But for the second trade this run, of course, they have the step related to one particular officer pops up in this run. She's a supporting character who actually supports Punisher. And because, here's the thing, she gets suspended for, get this, for firing her gun. Despite the fact she saved lives, the way in time is writes this board. And here's the thing, they suspend her despite the fact LA is in chaos. I'm like, I agree with the police chief. This is a stupid idea. You take away her badge and gun just because she dared to shoot her gun, like fire her gun off once because she dared to discharge a bullet from her gun. You dare suspend her? Yes, this is stupid. Keep her on the floor. Just keep her on investigation. Just don't suspend her. That's stupid. Really stupid. I hope one of the Punisher's bad guys pull a bullet in this guy's hip, or at least do something with the guy. At least reinstate him. Yeah, the weird thing about this run is the fact the Punisher's main villain in this run is basically a drug dealer. Yep. But this book is pretty good. I give this book roughly a... I'm going to give it roughly a 9 out of 10. I'm going to guess is the reason why that Kevin Moore was brought in as the co-writer of this book because, well, Henderson was writing... Excuse me. Because he was writing 2 other books at this point, and besides this one, he was writing Deathlock and Black Widow. But the weird thing about Nathan Emerson is that after all 3 of these books wrapped up, and out of these runs, he only did 2 more books after that. He did Red Wolf and 1876. 1876 was a Secret Wars tie-in. And then he did Red Wolf. And that was it. Because as far as I can tell, Emerson stopped working for Marvel after just a few years. Yeah, he had very short tenure on Marvel. Probably will discuss him more in a comic book history for the character. Oh yes, definitely. I will probably discuss him at some point. Yeah, because he didn't do many books for Marvel. No, and for some reason, I'm not really sure why. Oh, there's no Wikipedia page for him. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think this is see if I can get the thing to work properly. Yeah, here he is. Yeah, his Marvel work, like... Okay, I'm looking at his Marvel, like damn. Not much. Okay, aside from the Punisher book and Black Widow and Deathlock, he also worked on Untold Tales of Punisher Max number 4, which has been collected. Ultimate Comics Iron Man, a couple issues, Ultimate Comics Iron Man, AVX number 9, and that's it. He was not Marvel very long. No, he wasn't. He was at Marvel roughly just for a few years, and that was it. Yep. He, of course, was also doing some stuff for DC, which all he did for DC was Grifter. Yes, he worked on Grifter with forever the book. A couple of adventures of Superman, an issue of Batman Black and White, and that was it. Yeah, he didn't do very much for... I mean, mostly he used some Image book. I've never read any of his Image books at all. It's almost like, though, the fact that he actually... Okay, this actually is interesting, though. That Red Wolf, the book he worked on, which was actually... It was the last book he did for Marvel. Last book he ever did. Now, do I think that Emerson is a bad writer? No. The guy is a really good writer. I like the books he worked on. Yeah, I didn't think it was any bad books. It's just that basically he just didn't stick around for too long. Nope. And I look at a picture of him. He seems like a pretty decent guy. Apparently he's from Georgia. Like, wow, okay. So apparently his first comic came out was back in 2011. No, it was actually 2009. He worked on like a few small stuff here and there, but I think like the first ongoing series he worked on aside from Punisher was probably The Activity. Yeah. But we're reviewing more stuff on Dan Emerson soon. Yeah. Still, I think it's weird though. The last book it came out was only 5 years ago. Yep. So yeah, that's a particular review. I have one more review I'm going to do today. That's review the newest episode of Shaman King, and that'll be it for today. Okay? So next video. Bye.